because they're going to take it the way you take it because they're looking at you as a professional. And I don't care if that buyer or seller has sold 100 houses apiece. They're still looking at you as their representative. And when it's all said and done, they're going to be looking at and for you for direction and guidance. So to me, that, the same as far as us selling or buying at this time of year, if you're calling your seller and you're in your pajamas, or you're calling your buyer and you're talking about how stuffed you are from turkey and, wow, it's cold to go look at home. I mean, if you're doing that type of stuff, well, of course, the mindset of your client is going to follow that. And if you relate something else, if you talk about another different sense of urgency, like one of the things you just brought up, Lee, I've been actually doing beside our podcast, doing some stuff directly with some of my customers, particularly with video email, is that it's not a matter of if the interest rates go up, it's a matter of when. So what side of the curve of that do you want to be on? What side of the curve do you want to be on? And, the other thing is, okay, again, the days on market are longer. And that house that's right next door to you or that's right around the street that you might be priced at $5,000 less than or $5,000 more than, and you think you're competitive, but your home's been on the market now 45 days. What happens to your house when either that house reduces its price and or somebody comes on the market that has a tad bit more motivation than you do right now, and they put their property on the market for $10,000 or $15,000 less than what yours currently is? You got to start looking at that, and the consumer needs to be educated as so. And if they are not, if you're not at least educating them and providing them with that type of information so that they can make decisions on their own, you personally, as their agent representative, are doing a disservice to your client, in my opinion. Now, it's one thing if you give them this talk and they don't follow your advice, and you decide you want to continue to work with them, because a lot of agents, because they don't lead generate, forget the fact that we have the option of whom we do business with, just like they have the option of whom they hire. So that's my, 25 cents on it. That's more than 2 cents, right?
No, I completely agree. And I was thinking about this. I mean, just being objectively, are real estate agents really controlling the market? Is it why there's always one top agent at the top of the market and the rest are just sort of scoping around? Like the individual you're talking about, is she with all due respect to her, in case she does listen to this show, is she more than 12 to 20 transactions in a year?
Probably at the higher end of that.
Oh, okay.
20,
so she has
20 years.
So there's
she's a number. She should be doing 2 or 3 a month, but they're probably all with the same client.
Okay. Yeah, and see, that's why I'm fascinated. Why would somebody? I don't think I should be surprised by realtors anymore. I don't think that I should be, but I constantly am. When I meet one that doesn't have a Facebook page, when I meet one that looks at me like I'm insane, when I say that, good example, last night somebody was telling me that they were doing database marketing to get listings. I said, okay, I'm a marketing guy. I don't even understand what you just told me. Well, it's because you don't know. Excuse me? I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to learn every form of marketing, and you are telling me that there is a marketing style that I'm unaware of. Well, I do database marketing. Okay, well, what do you think that is? Well, I get the names of people through a lead source. Okay, which one? She told me, like RedX or one of those. And then ultimately I mail them. I said, that's not database marketing. That's spam mail marketing. And no, it's not. It's database. Okay. Jump to dinner with a realtor who tells me, sitting across the table, I'm successful enough. I don't need Facebook. Okay. That makes no sense, but okay. So when you tell me that somebody can't count the number of days, and this is me drawing it all together. I really want to get it, Elgin. I really want to get it. Like, I enjoy talking to you each week because I don't feel like I'm alone in the wilderness for a few moments here. And when I go back to doing the day job of marketing and talking to realtors, and I don't think people listening actually get it. It sounds like two guys, well, you guys just know more than everybody else. No, we're talking common sense. We're not we're,
Right.
we're not talking. If you wanted us to do a show on deep logic of real estate and Keller Williams principles, we could have that discussion for everybody. I don't think they'd be interested in understanding contractual law. I've never seen a need for us to have a real discussion to show off your actual. Hey, Elgin, why don't you explain the arbitration clause so that people can finally understand it once? I don't think that's a compelling show. I,
Right. I hope not.
you would think, right? And you and I both know that if we ask that question to 20 realtors, with all due respect, in and around your office, if we ask 20 realtors, 15 to 19 of them would say, don't worry about sign it. It just means that you're not going to have to go to court if there's legal proceedings. Really? You think that's what a neutral arbitration clause is all about, all by itself? It just means we don't hire lawyers. Oh, okay,
Right.
okay. That's the most, and I've heard you and I have both heard that, right? I'm not making that
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I laugh. That's the funny part.
that for those listening. If you've ever signed a contract to get your house listed or sold, there are two clauses on that contract, and they both come up at the same time: the arbitration and the arbitration clauses, and
Mm-hmm.
the hold harmless agreement. That's like I would think that any rational person would take a stop and go, that's a lot of words for just the words you just said. It's as simple as, I can't close because you didn't give me the paperwork. Why are you hassling me? I, is it just me? Am I finally, have I reached the top of the food chain on don't try to understand it, just deal with it, and that is our industry?
You know what? Again, unfortunately, to a degree, it is because, I've had a saying for a long time. I think I've said it to you or said on this show, is that real estate to me is an awful lot like a marriage. It's too easy to get into. It's too easy to do nothing while you're in it. Then it's too easy to get out. And real estate agents, in my opinion, fall into that category big time. Because, it doesn't take brain surgery to get your license. And what you're taught in getting your license are nothing that are going to teach you how to help families buy and sell real estate or how to sustain your own family with income. And when you're in the business, unfortunately, although there are much better training opportunities now than when I first got into the business, there's still not necessarily mandatory trainings that agents are required to do. I mean, you know what? You think about it. You're an independent contractor. Technically, you can come to Keller Williams or Remax or whatever the case may be, and somebody tells you that you have to come to class or go to an office meeting, and you can get pissed off and take your license and go to Black Belt Realty around the corner and never have to do anything and just keep your license there. You know what I'm saying? So too easy to not be accountable to either your education, your production, your performance, what it takes to help families. And then after all that's said and done, you know what, I done screwed up a little bit, I done kicked some tires around, and I'm tired of this thing. Now you're out of the business. You just leave, or worse than that, you leave after you've screwed up something for a family that can, again, depending upon what you do or do not do, can have an effect on their family history for years. And it's an unfortunate reality of our business and of other businesses, but of our business. And I believe that those are some of the reasons why the public's conception of real estate professionals is not as high as it should be. And I don't believe that it is the consumer's fault regarding that. I believe as an industry and as professionals, that's something that's our fault. And that's something that we should strive to change.
Okay. So, what is the litmus test to make sure that I get somebody who understands that December is, in theory, December should be no different than July in selling my house, other than possibly my expectations of moving it a little bit faster. But the reality of selling it and getting fair market value shouldn't change all that dramatically much, should it?
No, it shouldn't. It's funny. I did a blog earlier today, and the topic of that is December your beginning or is it your end as far as your sales career. And you look at it from a real estate standpoint, from a business standpoint. Since everything that we do today, realistically, the earliest we're going to get compensated for that is in January or with the tread, depending upon that, February, right? So that's the earliest that you're going to get compensated for it. So are you looking at December as the last month of the year, and it's been a long year, a great year, a bad year, whatever it's been to you, but I'm looking at this as the end, and I'm done, and now I'm going to restart January in 2016? Or do you look at the fact that you have the opportunity to have a 13-month year, January 16th, by doing what you're supposed to do in December? If you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're helping families properly in December, for yourself personally and your family, you're going to start off 2016 with momentum. You're going to start off 2016 feeling good about yourself. You're going to have already been helping families in what they need to do. You're going to have additional families and clients in the pipeline that are needing to do something, and you have a business that is hopefully the snowball is moving more downhill than you starting to push the snowball back uphill. And come January, you look as if where you have no escrows, no listings, no anything, and you're starting over. And now on a best case scenario, you're not going to probably make $1 until March. You're not going to help a family make a move until March. I mean, to me, that is insane. And what other business or whatever, besides maybe somebody that's built up a whole lot of tenure with a government type of a job, who gets off the month? Nobody gets off a month. The people that you're working with don't take off a month, a whole month. I mean, like 30 days. I mean,
Right.
like, really? A whole month? Man, I wish. I mean, that's like close to retirement, isn't it?
Well, and talking from that the common belief, much like the arbitration clause is just we're not hiring lawyers, is, well, nobody wants to sell during December. No, your referrals aren't. And here's what I mean for those of you listening. Referrals not contacting realtors that are normally getting their deals through a referral source. Stop November, December, January, February. Why? People are having the holidays. So they're not referring people out during that period. It isn't on the top of their mind. I would bet, and nobody's ever run this study, I would say referrals decline in November, December, and January and February, and that actual sales per se technically don't, because people who are divorced or probate or defaulted or FISBO or whatever, buyer. I don't think that ever changes. I think people need to buy or sell whenever they need to buy or sell, and I think that's a constant number. And we get confused with first-time people coming into the market who want to move up or people who want to move down, and nobody looks at the data that way. They just constantly, NAR does this adjustment to the market constantly, and back to your point, which is, well, nobody really wants to sell right now.
Well,
How do you respond to that?
Well, you know what? So it's December the 2nd, right? Or December the 1st, whatever the day is. Yeah, it's December the 1st. I know I'm dating the podcast, but for instance, already here, December the 1st, I have 3 families that are putting their home on the market this week. 3 families that are putting their homes on the market this week with the intention of having their home sold before Christmas. You can't tell me that people aren't buying or selling. My phones and other systems that we have in place are ringing, or people are inquiring, and for the person that you said that you're dealing with that doesn't want to use Facebook, All I can say is my Facebook posts are generated